Okay, let's see what we got. Oh, Karuno. Alright, so we have Karuno and Urina. That's me. A1 is interesting. Bring how the two work together. There's probably some range lock shenanigans you can pull off. I basically agree with the purple build. Just be careful not to play Perpetual Wind too much, but Perpetual Wind is pretty solid in the matchup. He might not play Sunny Stage if Bone might bring Lighthouse. Doesn't look like he will though. Hmm. I don't know how I feel about it. Bone White with the key. It was interesting people do that. Because that means he got mostly cards he doesn't mind if he is Cyclone Blade. Probably he has Dive Bomb going on also. Is this going to be a focus twice, Benthic straight open? Okay, absolute zero. Really? That seems pretty bad. I feel like there's more merit in keeping the absolute zero secret, playing it to get one freeze token. Maybe there's some merit there with like conditioning or something. Now purple's gonna have to be respecting absolute zero whenever it's not in the played file. That'll make it easier for Bone White to do any kind of range lock shenanigans he has in mind. Hmm. Okay, Frostbite. I see. One charge dive bomb. Still needs to get into range. But he can do that now that he's given it a charge. But still gets the dive even though the enhancer disenchants. Which makes sense. It's just kind of a little bit weird. So that'll get revealed if purple plays any of his cards. Affect the distance accordingly. At this range, it's probably going to be a move backward, but I doubt it'll be relevant. Although theoretically he could arrange it so that it moves forward at the start of his next turn. If purple decides not to play any cards face up this turn. Hard or locked by Frost. Might be a Sunny stage play. Okay, opting for Perpetual Wind. Which means he probably is going to stage after. Backwards Submersion. The Perpetual Wind to life, that's rough. And indeed, Sunny Stage. He probably pulls. Okay. This is he probably pulls 1 from Aura, but 2 is fine. This range, I think. Best card for Bone White here would be Acid Spray. Looks like he might have it, moving up to range 5 to play around Song and Dance. Okay. Range 5 also plays around Song and Dance for. Okay, 2-1 Blade Dance. I don't think there are any punishes for taking this to Aura right now. Does make Frostbite a concern on future turns, though. Zero, zero. No, Song and Dance isn't. That can be the only card purple's thing. He's probably kicking himself because if he had the Aura, he could cancel this attack, but it honestly, it's a difference of 1 distance. I don't know how significant that is. Oh, okay. It's significant because if he moved back 1 and canceled the attack, his Sunny Stage would still be in range. Hmm. Immediate forward 2 is bigger, and then undoing it. It's interesting. Now what? Flash? Right, life headwind pass. Someone might considering Borocharto here. Seems premature. Hmm. Benthic Strait. Okay, pressures purple to attack on its next turn. Hmm. Hmm. Really? I guess the advantage there is it keeps Benthic Strait from dealing damage. Ugh. Okay. Hmm. Okay, Frostbite, everyone's favorite card. Interesting. It's actually possible that Bone White is doing forward type here, but unlikely. He's trying to make the guess that purple will move backwards to avoid dive bomb, then may have dived forward so that on his turn he'll go forward and then disenchant. Hmm. That's actually pretty. Forced aura damage is almost like an action economy here, because you can't focus anyway. Hmm. Another interesting point is that purple moves forward just one. No, never mind. Dive backward just three. Purple stays where he is, then dive backwards would cause it to miss on Bone White's turn. Oh, he's decided to bite the bullet and take the dive bomb to life here. makes sense by degrees. If he decides to move backwards, he can end up beating Absolute Zero, which would be pretty awful. Hmm. Okay, pretty safe position to be in for bone. It looks like glancing strike's coming. Is that a pass, or do you probably move forward here? Double move. It's a pretty bad state to be in for Bone White. Um, the main upside is that he has gotten purple to use Perpetual Wind 3 times, so purple's at a bit of a bit lower on flare than he might otherwise like to be. All out. So it's gonna be 1 aura damage and a freeze. And recovers. 2 recovers? No, 1 recover. I think there's a reasonable chance that Art of Drawing just gets slammed here, but we'll see. There it is, Art of Drawing. You can't do that yet. Oh, maybe he's thinking about taking it to life so he can approach Arto. Yeah. Cyclone Blade, interesting. Blink reaction will cancel this. Okay, Polite Return as a vanilla 2/1, getting life. That's pretty gross, pretty mean. That also will cancel Cyclone Blade. dropping out to range 4 also suits purple just fine, because now he can drop Glancing Strike down. Ah, here we go. Now we have the torpedo. But at this point, it probably doesn't matter too much. Oh, torpedo ends no crossing. Oh my gosh. Range 2 to range 8. But purple can just camp here and throw out Perpetual Wind to keep Benthic straight from doing anything. Perpetual Wind's actually MVP this matchup. Yeah, okay. Move forward 1, Perpetual Wind. Play Sunny Stage, pass. Now, he's gonna own the life and aura damage? That seems unnecessary. Nice. That really hurts for Bone White. Not sure why he wouldn't play the Frostbite out there with Benthic straight. This card this game is basically purple loses 1 vigor and 1 flare for 2 flare. Dive bombing, purple probably just back days. Or even stay where he is, be fine. Depends on how crafty Bone Might's being. Bone Might is diving forward here, then pretty much guaranteed hit. But if purple just plays patiently, he probably avoids this by sitting one spot. Alright, I'll have to hand it to Bone Might if he died forward here. Purple didn't even need to do anything if he was just gonna bank on it being dived backward, though. Wait. This avoids dive forward. Purple's being very cautious. It's fine. It was backward. I don't know if that's true. Perpetual sunny stage again? Upside is Bone White never has to worry about Tsukikage Crush. Fortunate side is that purple doesn't need that. Blade Dance. 3-2 Blade Dance. No Rhyme here, though. Don't think it's time for Purple Aura yet, but he also needs to worry about the 4-cost Karunu special. The 2-3. And taking this to life will give him access to Storm, so there's merit in it. I think realistically the only follow-up Bone White has here is to Tornado away from Sunny Stage, though. Not Tornado, Torpedo. We'll see. Nope. Frostbite. This is really bad. So it's gonna be a backward dive. Oh, it doesn't matter if it's a backward dive. It's really bad. It just immediately isn't gonna do anything because he's guaranteed gonna be headwind on his next turn. Wait, does that work? I better double check. Versus. Yeah, if your opponent plays a card while you're submerged, or that card resolves, reveal your submersion card and resolve its effects. This is a unfortunate turn of events for Beaumont. Having just a misunderstanding of the rules cost the game. It's pretty brutal, but I mean, purple was already ahead, I guess. I don't know. It's probably an overstatement to say that it cost the game, but his turn would have been much better if it worked the way he thought it worked. Oh, that's so bad. All right. Backward submersion, which means purple is not going to be able to do anything this turn. Okay, range locking at a life deficit. Oh no, he's going forward. Okay, this be of the two you. A little fear in purple. I really don't think there's any point to this though. You're gonna go to range one? No? Hmm. Okay. That seems to just be handshaking, purple lethaling him. Brandish?
That wasn't very fun to play, but whatever. There was one opportunity. The turn that he messed up the submerge, I took that aura and I thought to myself, it's like, okay, if wait, no, maybe I was just griefing actually. Mm. Yeah, I was not about to let that happen. Absolutely not. Holy win. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna wind him so much that he doesn't get to play the game. So I'll take
Yeah, once you got a life lead, there was no real reason to take a different tag. And once you had
it.
spent Perpetual Wind a few times, there was never you were never going to get enough flair to do Tsukikage.
Yeah. Final blow would have been better. Okay, so you know that turn that he choked to submerge and I took that thing to aura? I was like, okay, I get Omega Lol punished here if he has the 2-3. And but I don't feel super bad about it unless he has the frostbite as well, because then I can't focus into crush, right? Because I had two flare. 'Cause that was the part that I was like, oh fuck, I don't have enough flare to block this 2-3 Cornrumpe or Cornu, whatever. So I was like, fuck, if I take this, I actually don't know if I can win. Because I thought he was gonna A2 and then do it. And then he didn't, and I was like, "Oh god." And then the submerge didn't work for him. And I was like, "Ah." Because that was the only way that I felt that I lost was getting hit by that 2-3. Uh-huh. Yeah, okay, Bone White's actually right. In hindsight, I would've probably brought Overall, but I will fully 100% admit I underestimated how good he would play, so I didn't think he'd Orlock me correctly. So, not gonna lie, that's why I didn't really think about it too hard. I was like, "Yeah, if he plays this well, he's gonna Orlock me," but, you know. Also, he choked one turn. The turn that he played the 2-1, he lost the game, actually, and I took it to Aura, and then he didn't have a follow-up. I instantaneously won the game. He made one mistake, and that legit if he would've not done that and played perfectly the rest of the game, he would've won, but the turn he played the 2-1, I won. Took it to Aura, and then I got to range basically the turn that I hit range 2 for the first time, win, easy. I just was like, "Okay, now I can play," and I just got a major life lead, and he never recovered from it. The only way he would've recovered the life lead is from the 2-3. Oh, you guys can't hear me, huh? My mic
I,
is not close
yeah,
enough.
I hear you.
Oh, okay. My mic was, like, really far away from my mouth.
You're talking
But
loud then.
yeah,
You're excited.
um, but yeah, like, the turn that you remember that turn I'm talking about, though, where I took the 2-1 to Aura, and then I moved to range 2? And then I researched Azupastum? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he lost the game immediately right there, actually. If he didn't play the 2-1, he actually had a really good chance of winning. Because I would've lost in deck okay, if both of us played perfectly, he won because he beat me in deck building. Actually, no, he didn't. He would have to trade Porpachow for the 2-3, and then he beat me in deck building. Well, actually, no, right? If he plays Porpachow correctly, right, he wins, I think. Yeah, if he plays Porpachow correctly and doesn't because the thing is, though, it's a handshake. I'm never, ever going to let him go tailwinded on that enhancement. So, yeah, that was another thing I was scared of, and this is why Perpetual Wind was so important for me in the early game, is I was scared of the 3-2. I was like, "Fuck, if I don't hit him, he gets 3-2, 2-2, and I'm trying not to be aura locked here, so I'm dumping my aura." But then once he showed the 2-2, the 2-2 at range 2 to 3, I realized that he didn't have a massive punish on Tailwinds, because that's what I was scared about. I was scared of the massive punishes on Tailwinds with 2-2, 3-2, and then Blade Dance. Or not Blade Dance, Swords. Wait, was it? That was the 2-1 and get +1/+1. The Sword
Oh,
Dance?
Torrent.
No, I'm talking about the um yeah, I was scared of Torrent. That's what I was really scared about. That's why I kept randomly throwing perpetual winds into the sky because I was like, fuck, if I end my turn and he draws Torrent into into Torpedo into Blade Dance, that's a lot of damage and that's gonna be really hard for me to cover. Because I was like, that's a massive punish. And like I don't really know the rest of his specials because I don't know if I hit him back, then he gets flare, then he hits me back and I just die
Yeah,
with the two through.
another thing that might have served him well is if he had brought Rhyme Thorn, just as a surprise damage buff to bypass your aura.
Okay. Yeah. Honestly, I do think he definitely played better than I thought he would. But I do think that he made one mistake in the ore locking game. Also, I think we're basically trading. His 2 flare for my 1 flare every time he did benthic straight. I was
It
never
was it
giving him
was
that.
it was 2 flare for 1 flare and 1 vigor.
Why 1 vigor?
'Cause
Oh,
he
the
flinches
submerge.
you.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, but like I don't have anything to do. Like I didn't really think that was a huge stifle on me. I mean, I barely got to play the game the entire time. I mean, I
I
literally he
mean,
made
it
one
would
mistake.
be if you had to combat the range lock also, because then you have 1 less vigor to get rid of your ice tokens to focus your aura away to move forward.
But is that a reasonable trade for him though?
No. No, he's still losing, but he's not losing quite that hard because it's basically 4 actions for 3 actions, right? Because 4 flare or 2 flare for 1 flare, 1 vigor.
Yeah, I mean, that was just I was just never gonna give it to him. But yeah, the tail like there I actually kind of okay, like the game was really boring for me, like just by the nature of the matchup, which is fine. I agree. I mean, it happens to me in every game I play. I play aggro, so then I got to play against defensive, and then I just have to be really patient, which I don't have a lot of patience. But I learned a little bit of it. But the problem that I was running into was, as I mentioned before, was the tailwind punish because I wasn't sure if he had torrent. Then once he showed the 2-2, I was just like, oh man, he has no punish at the long range. Because if I don't tailwind him, he doesn't, and I don't have full aura. The best he has is 2-2, 2-1. So I was like, that's not really a big punish. And he unaura locks me, and the trade is super positive for me.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was 3-2, 2-2, 2-1, or even potentially 3-2, 3-2, 2-1.
I agree. I think Aquaform Salvo is one of Hatsumi A1's scariest cards.
No, I'm talking torrent.
Oh no, if he has the 2/2 special also,
Torrent. Yeah, Aquaform Salvo. Yeah, I don't know how good that is. Honestly, I'm sure it's good. I just haven't. I've seen it used. Actually, no, that was used against me in range lock, and I lost pretty hard actually.
yeah, it's very
Yeah, I
scary
played
because
against the Hatsumi
if you know
A
you have the
Gumi.
to deal with that 2/2, it makes it a lot harder to deal with the other attacks.
Yeah, I should have brought. In hindsight, what is it? I bring overall instead of brandish, probably. Do I need 2 enhancements? I don't know.
Eh,
Because Sunny Stage isn't great for unaura locking yourself, because then you have to end your turn.
you could also theoretically just bring Windy Stage.
Yeah, I meant to talk with you yesterday about that. I don't know how I feel about Windy Stage because my aura already has to be empty for it to work.
No,
And then I
that's not
get
true.
why?
Because when you charge it, you can pull 2 aura from your or 2 from your aura to charge it.
Oh. Well, yeah, 2 from aura. But then like the don't I get super punished? Doesn't that synergize super well into his shenanigans into both of his enhancements? His
You move
benthic straight
backward into
and
it.
the other one?
If it
Yeah, benthic straight and dive bomb.
it depends. It also puts you back into your ideal attack ranges too. If you just it keeps them from like moving forward to avoid certain things. I don't know if it's necessarily the card you bring against Natsumi though. So fair point.
Yeah, I just yeah, I don't think I liked overall more, I think, because the unguarded is irrelevant pretty much, and I get to unlock 2 aura and move. I'm not super used to bringing 2 enhances. I mean, I'm sure there are some people that would say Art of Drawing you throw away, which is probably true. Like that's probably like in a vacuum, like the best card. But
I am kind of
like,
surprised you got to play it at all, but
yeah, me too. I mean, I was not about to take Hilt Strike. Like I'm not that greedy, but I was like
Field
Art
Strike's
of Drawing.
fine. I
But
mean,
that was the thing though. He lost the game when the game hit range too. Like I'm not like trying to be like exaggerating or
well,
anything.
yeah, you
When
hit
I hit
range
range two,
two. You hit range two, and like he didn't have a big advantage over that state. If you hit range two and you're like, yeah, I finally got here, but you're at like 2 or 3 life less than him, then the game's pretty even still, right? Because he's managed to leverage his range advantage over you, but that didn't happen.
yeah, sure. I think Torpedo would have helped that a lot, personally.
At
Not
torpedo,
Torpedo, Torrent.
yeah, probably.
Because like in the all out too, because I have to respect the all out, right? Because if I hit it, all that shit goes to distance. Torrent, I think, was the easiest like bring that would have solved the game a lot easier for him. Like, but to be fair, I mean, I was playing around it pretty hardcore because that's why I kept perpetual winding. I wasn't perpetual winding because I wanted to knock anything out of his hand. I was perpetual winding him so I could keep him headwinded, so I didn't have to eat a tailwinded torpedo,
Yeah, yeah,
a tailwinded torrent, because that's
yeah. Not to
devastating.
mention a tailwinded benthic straight, but
Yeah, I mean that was what I did get success on for the perpetual win. But I was just like I thought about it. I was like, I'm sure other people might have played it differently, where they took a lot more life damage and then just walked up and like crushed with overall. Because I think that's the key, right? Tsurikage crush becomes a lot better when I have overall because I can walk up. And the down times are basically when I'm frostbit, and that's the part that my heart fell into my ass is when I took the 3-2, and I was like, okay, I'll just take this to Aura because I'll take it to Aura. He can advance twice and then play Upas. I mean, play whatever it's called, the 2-3, and then I have to take 3 life damage. And then I'm like, can I come back from this? I didn't really math it out. I was like, but on my advantage, he has to come closer to me, which is a huge benefit for me. But I'm down 3 life, so can I bring this back? The answer was I wasn't really sure, but I also thought taking 3-2 when I had 5 or when my aura was completely filled was very dangerous as well. So I ended up just taking the aura and kind of betting that it would, hoping it would work. But then he had Port Chow and not the 2-3 because that's when he played. Because then I was like, maybe I can focus and get what I need. But yeah, that was a pretty methodical game of Sakura arms. I do think he made one mistake. Fundamentally, was when he played the 2-1 and he didn't string any more damage, and that got me to range 2. And then I got a bunch of life damage that I shouldn't have otherwise got. Um, he did
I
kind
don't
of get
know.
scammed on the life with Sunny Stage, I think. But
Oh yeah, that one turn when he misunderstood the rules didn't work the way he thought. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think playing Benthic straight at all after seeing that you had Perpetual Wind was questionable, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know. My point being is I do think the game was winnable mechanically for him. If I brought overall, then that's a different game. But if we just do vacuum deck building and like both of us play perfectly, I think he wins. Like this game, he just plays perfectly. I think. Oh, I think okay. No, well, I don't know. What does he swap out for torpedo for torrent? Probably. I mean, you do you really like Corny Rumpe? I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, not Corny Rumpe. Prime Thorn. I don't know how I feel about that.
I think Ramthorn is very good. But I'm pretty pro things that give attacks +1/+1, like in general. I feel like that's actually an underrated effect.
You think it's probably cut Cyclone Blade for torrent, right?
I don't think Cyclone Blade's doing him any favors in the against Tokoyo, but
Yeah, I think you cut Cyclone Blade for torrent. I mean, I don't know. What do you think about poor Charto? I thought that was actually a card that he could have utilized if he just would have utilized it better. I don't think it was a bad card to bring. Although saying you're going to use it for Sugakage Crush was pretty egregious. That's not why you bring it though.
yeah, that's
It's
probably
the
why you
initially
bring
it's
it.
the range.
Like a 4
What?
flare countering a 7 flare thing is fine. And
Yeah,
whenever
but I'm
you're
never
at
doing
4
that.
flare, you would have to play around that. Like at some point, he could have switched gears and then used it more proactively when it was like clear that you were going to have a hard time getting to 7 flare from that, or like you'd have to get like super expose yourself or whatever.
Agree. I think you just pitch. I mean, I think Benthic Straight doesn't work out because of wind. Whatever. You switch from Benthic Straight and just channel all the flare you used into poor, right? I mean,
Didn't
how
matter. It didn't
often?
matter at that point. Like in the late game, you could have just passively let him reshuffle through his deck and been patient, and you would have won.
I mean, that's what I did. I feel until I think he just rage went to R2. I think.
Yeah, that seemed like kind of what was going. His handshaking until the match was over without conceding.
Yeah, I think he just rage ran to R2, and I was like, okay, because I was double checking it. And I was like, wait, the 2-3 costs 4 flare.
Yeah, I
He
think
has
he was
0
like just
aura.
giving you like the taste of fear for a moment that he was gonna like 2-3 or whatever.
He couldn't. That was the point.
Yeah, he didn't
That's why I
have
took
it.
it to aura. Because
Didn't.
no, he couldn't because he didn't have enough resources. He had zero aura, 1 vigor, and 3 flare.
No, he could have 2-3'd you.
No, he had 3 flare. Look at I think the board state's accurate right now. Actually, oh no, it's not. It's before he took this. So he had this. He didn't have the 2 flare because that's what I killed him with. So this was the life. This was the board. This wasn't the board
I'm
state.
not
This
in
was
your
the board state.
gaming.
Look, because he has 0 vigor, right? And he didn't have enough. My point being is that he had 0 flare. I mean 0 aura, so he couldn't focus to get to 4. He had this.
Wait. Then how was he threatening you with anything?
He wasn't. Oh, well, I mean, I'm talking about the last turn. The last turn he couldn't do anything. He wasn't threatening anything, which is why I took the 2-2 to
He
aura.
had the he had to have had the flare. He
He
hadn't
had
spent
three
it on
flare.
anything. Did he
Yeah,
play
yeah, no,
Benthic again or something?
yeah, I don't know. He played Benthic again, but yeah, he played Benthic again
Oh well, whatever. I don't know.
because he had 3 flare at the
So
end
he
game.
could have done it instead of Benthic then if he had it, but it was whatever.
Yeah, but I'm talking specifically on the last turn. He could not have hit me with the 2-3 because he did not have enough resources.